friends and family of the Cheese Footage Garage. E-Golf did well. I actually had this engine in my car for the last 3 days because my brother had took the cherry picker, so I couldn't take it down. And yeah, so 3 days in the E-Golf, riding low, as you guys can see. Got that dropped off. But let's get this engine down, guys. I'm using a Dirty Dingo engine plate, and we're gonna use the old school stand with the old school lift. Let's get this show on the road, guys. Get this show on the road. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good. Fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts. I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong. I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay last, stay proud. Never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth. Can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have it douse, not what I'm about. Have your cloud, it be raining now. I keep making sound, get another round. I'm moving down, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me. I said like this. Check it out, guys. Check it out. Looks pretty damn fly to me. TJ did a hell of a job. Man, look at that, guys. Gotta order a new gasket for the back. But it was looking fly. Look at that, guys. Not too bad, huh? Alright, guys, so I spin the engine, put it in this orientation. I just like it better that way. I wiped this surface down with brake cleaner, got it nice and clean for our oil pump to go in there. TJ already put these bolts on here. That's why they have the quality control, what do you call it here, the markings. So we're gonna go ahead and put our oil pump. The oil pump that we're gonna use is a Melling 10295 high pressure. We're not gonna put the Copo Camaro spring. This is a really high pressure one. This spring is for plus 25 psi over enclosed blue spring. So yeah, and 15 psi over the installed red spring. So we're gonna use the red that's already in here. Okay. Now putting this oil pump comes with O-rings for the pickup tube, and you have to match your pickup tube to the proper O-ring. So we'll tackle that when we get there. For now, let's just go ahead and put this bad boy on and align it. So yep, that's where we're at. Something like this. All right. So there's no like gasket that goes behind that to put our bolts in there. I am gonna put a little bit of thread locker on them, but not yet. I'll show you guys when. Right now I'm just gonna snug them. All right. Oh, no, that's... I didn't mean to snug them. I just meant to get them closer. You want it to be loose like this. See if our Milwaukee has enough power to break it loose. It sure does. Okay. Alright guys, so we need to shim this thing. Okay, so the easiest way to shim this thing is going to get some one long shim going across here and one long shim going across here, and then we're going to go ahead and torque these down with Loctite. So I'll show you that right now. So what I did here is I spin the engine to where I got a pretty good play where I can easily slide this, this gear out. Okay, so I got my my feeler gauges here. I'm gonna go ahead and slide this bad boy in here, and then I'm gonna slide this bad boy down here. I'll see, but I can't. We might have to go with smaller feeler gauges, I think. We'll see here. Let's see. All right, guys. So I was able to get this feeler gauge in here. Let me see. I can't really see what it says. 0.002. So I got the top one in, the bottom in, and then I'm able to verify that the sides are okay. You guys can see there, it goes in and out just fine. And we're gonna come on this side and we're gonna check it out the same way. It goes in and out. So let me see here. It's kind of hard to get it in here, but looks like it's fine. So let's try this guy over here. Same thing. So we're pretty much shimmed, I guess. Alright guys, so for this book it calls for 18 foot-pounds for the oil pump. So let's go ahead and set this at 18. Alright guys, so now that I got this thing shimmed to the tolerances that I find most soothing, I'm going to go ahead and put some thread locker on this bolt here. I only have medium grade right now, so I'm just going to run with it. I think it'll be fine. Alright, so now let's go ahead and torque this thing to 18 foot-pounds. Turn on the torque wrench here. Torque wrench set at 18 foot-pounds. After we torque these bolts here, let's go ahead and put the cover back on. Where did I leave that cover? Oh, here it is. Alright, so as usual guys, we want to wipe it down, have a clean surface, get some brake cleaner, give it a good little wipe down. Okay, same thing here. Gotta be careful with these rags, because they sometimes they leave little dust. Alright, so let's go ahead and shoot some grease up here. Alright guys, and if you guys want to double check real quick our feeler gauges, we got one in there, we're able to get one on the bottom, and we got some on the sides, guys. I wish I could have another feeler gauge, but I only have 3, but it works just fine. This one's a little bent, but it works. Alright. Okay. Now let's go ahead and put this bad boy back on. Oh, it goes like this. Alright. We're gonna go ahead and use some of this thread locker also. Okay. And I'll go ahead and torque these things. We'll check the torque specs right now. Now we're gonna get our little torque wrench. This is inch per pound, so we're gonna set this one at 108 inch-pound. So these are little bolts, so we want to go light. 108 inch, which is really nothing, guys. Alright guys, so now let's go ahead and spin our engine around. Nope. Alright. She's a little eager to get going, I guess. All right. All right. All right, guys, so she spins freely. She seems real happy. So let's double check our alignment dots here. I should have showed you guys that earlier, but oh well. Our alignment dots, well, it's gonna be hard to see, but I checked it last time. What's next? Oh yeah, okay, so now we move on to the Holley oil pan. We have to put the windage tray and the pickup tube. So yeah, we're gonna have to do the oil pan, and then yeah. All right, guys, so to complete the oil pump, we got to get our windage tray here and our pickup tube and O-ring and all that good stuff. So what I'm going to use is the Holley part number, where are you, 302-2. So it comes with its own pickup tube here. So well, let me unbox this. Let's see. Okay, guys, so I have the Holley pan laid out here. I had to set up another little table for it. Here's our old school windage tray, or not an old school, but the original windage tray that came on the motor. It's labeled front and front, yeah, so you point the front to the front as you set it in place. Okay, guys, so I was looking at the instructions and it looks like it wants us to cut the windage tray to a measurement of 14 1/4, right? So I have it measured here. Let me show you guys here. I got it measured at 14 1/4 there. So it wants us to notch it, basically cut this piece off right here. All right, it's about 4 1/4 off. And then the reason is because it looks like the pickup tube, when you try to set it in place, it hits. See how it doesn't sit flush? It's because it hits right here, so you gotta cut it off. And I'm thinking we're probably gonna have to cut a little bit more, honestly. So I don't know, maybe. It looks like it. We'll see. We'll start there, and then if we have to, we'll just like kind of like cut a little bit that way. All right, so we don't cut too much of the windage tray off. All right, let's see, what else did I gather from this. I want you to put an RTV. Okay. I got it. That's for the pickup tube. Clearance for the pickup tube. Duh. All you have to do is read, right? All right. I'm gonna be doing some cutting. I went ahead and covered the engine back up just to, you know, keep it safe from all the grinding. We'll grind over there away from it, but you know, just to be safe. All right, guys. So we have our measurements. I hope, because I just glanced at the instructions, to be honest with you. It's like my biggest flaw. All right. All right, guys. Let's cut this thing. G's in the house today. That's great, because you know I haven't been reading instructions, so G's here to read some of these instructions for me. We cut off the piece already. There it is right there, guys. That's the front, and that's the the pickup tube. What's up, G? What's cracking?
No need for instructions.
I like your style.
Got it.
I like your style.
Yeah.
All right, G, you ready for this?
Uh-huh.
So this is where I'm at. The Holley requires you to cut this windage tray. So I had covered it up so we can do some grinding. So this is where we're at so far. I got I went and I sprayed this thing down with brake cleaner so there's no more metal shavings on it, and let's give it a test fit. Like this. All right, so I think this is what Holley wants, but let's find out. Okay, it looks like we still may have some clearance issues. Yeah, we will, because see, we're not sitting flush here. So we're gonna have to notch it some more over here. So I'm only gonna go a little corner. You see that, G? It's not straight. See how it's hitting right there?
Yeah.
So this is not sitting flush.
Yeah, no.
And this is where it picks up oil. So if this is not sitting flush,
Yeah.
it's gonna pick up air, and you'll have loss of oil pressure.
Yeah.
And you have like little bubbles in your air pressure, and there's no bueno. All right, so let's go back to the cutting board on this. For the oil pickup tube, you need to cut the windage tray to 14 1/4, which means remove this piece here, and then you're gonna notch it a little bit back here so the tube could fit. And you end up with the windage tray that looks like this, and a pickup tube that sits like this. All right, so you're good there. It sits flat there, and it sits flat back there. And we're gonna go ahead and lube our O-ring really good. This is gonna prevent the oil ring from tearing apart. We're gonna put a hefty amount in there. Okay. Now we get our pickup tube. We're gonna put it in there carefully. And this is the O-ring that is supplied by Holley for this pickup tube. Okay. So on the instructions, Holley says careful when installing it, and don't allow the bolt to be the driver, meaning you put it in. Gotta make sure not to cut it, because if you tear it, it's game over.
Yeah.
Alright. Let's see here. It's kind of difficult, G.
With the
It's not that easy to go in. Oh, there it goes. Came in nice.
force?
No. This is the O-ring.
Oh, okay.
But I saw it when I put it in. I pushed equal pressure,
Oh, okay.
and it went in real nice. Okay, so now we're good. All right, so we said Loctite or no Loctite on the.
I don't remember what it said.
On
Did it
these
say
guys.
Loctite?
All right, guys. So we have the supplied bolts for the pickup tube. It doesn't say to use thread locker, but I'm gonna use it anyways because I don't want one of these bolts to back out. So we're gonna go ahead and put these on. What's nice about the Holley design is that it comes with 2 bolts already versus like the factory one that only has 1. So let me grab the appropriate tool for this. Okay, so 106.
It's 106, yeah.
Okay guys, so we torque these little bolts to 106.
You're gonna use your loco?
No, because this is inch pound. The pickup tube is secured, torqued it down to 106 inch pound. The Windage tray
Windage tray.
is torqued to 18 foot-pounds. Got that bad boy in there. So we're ready to move on. Holley does say to go ahead and spin the engine and check for any clearance issues. We went ahead and spinned it quite a bit, and we don't see anything hitting. A ver, Martín, le da vuelta, porfas. Unos mazos. I got my father-in-law, el corredor, right here, spinning. All right. This is compression, my friend. All right. We're good. All right, guys. So there don't seem to be any clearance issues, so we're good there. We put Loctite where we needed to put Loctite. We put Loctite here, here, here. We didn't put any here because of the type of nut that there is, and we're ready to keep moving forward now. We have to assemble the oil pan. It doesn't come pre-assembled, so we grab our bolts, put some Loctite on this. All right, and then what do we torque this G at? The little bolts, the 4. Does it tell you on the instructions on that?
I didn't see them.
No?
I didn't see
Let
them.
me see.
Are these the same instructions you have over there?
Yeah, I'll tell you doubles.
Oh, so they send doubles.
Yeah. All right, let's see here.
Let me look at it.
It says, apply a drop of blue Loctite to the threads of the 4 supplied long cap screws and use them to install the baffle into the oil pan. Torque the 4 baffle bolts to 8 to 10 foot-pounds, which is really hand tight, dude. But let me get it for the sake of all the hardcore techs are cringing right now because you're not supposed to use extensions. They say you're not supposed to use extensions, but it doesn't affect the torque spec. But people think that it does.
They say it gives it more like a leverage, more.
They say it throws off the accuracy of the torque spec, but wrote those Finnegan and Freiberger, they did a video where they tested it and nothing happened. It was the same.
It's the same. The myth is busted.
The myth is busted. Okay. Like I said, G, this is just hand tight, so it doesn't. It's a little aluminum pan, so you'll strip it with anything over what it calls for. Okay. But you know, new oil pan gasket to the oil pan. Install the oil pan bolts to the pan for the gasket. The gasket is designed to hold the bolts in place. Pause it, Marty. Pause it, pause.
Hey, you skipped 9?
All our bolts here are clean. They're ready to be assembled. I cleaned up everything, so you guys can see here. I wish I would have got the bolts coated to match the gold here that we did, but it is what it is, guys. But at least the bolts are nice and clean, so it shouldn't look too bad. Well, I guess it gives it some contrast too, so you can actually tell that it's a gold color, right? Look at the bright side. But yeah, I went ahead and cleaned up all the bolts already, our coolant bypass lines too. So this should make for an easy install once we have everything going on here. So let's go ahead and start by putting our oil seals on the rear cover and the front cover, and then before we put this rear cover on, we'll put the new barbell on. I got one of those machine finish ones that you guys can see here, so made in USA. So yeah, let's get going.
I don't really know what comes next. I'm just doing my best, even though I'm so stressed out. Everything just feels like a test that I fail, so depressed when I can't seem to get out. But something deep inside won't let me quit. I swear that I'm inspired by all this shit. Tell me that I can and I won't. That's what guides me the most. Kill lies, I'll do what I want.
So before we do that, let's go ahead and clean this really good. It says on the GM assembly book that I have, it says that it should go on dry. I don't know though. I think I want to put a little bit of oil here. I'm not sure. Okay, so I guess I have to put this thing in dry. There's a little arrow here that tells you the rotation, right? So if you see here on this one, there it is, a little arrow. So that's how I know that this side goes to the front, but it's a dead giveaway. See? Oh, see, look, even these guys, they have it the same orientation as us. All right, guys, so it says this should be dry. I don't know. I feel like we could damage it that way, but I don't know. All right, let me get a hammer. And we're gonna use this tool as a driver, which is the reason why I bought it, because it's dual purpose. All right. I don't know about you guys, but I like to just put a tad bit. It says it goes on dry, dude.
Goes on dry?
I know what they say, but I don't know, man. I just put a little bit, just for my OCD. Oh, my dad would always tell me that I have to put a little bit of.
Gaskets?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I cleaned up all the bolts and everything. What's nice about these is that esta madre, they help you hold your screws in. Since there's like a little O-ring in here, it helps you hold the screw. See?
Oh, por eso no se cae, ¿verdad?
Yeah. So it makes it a little bit easier on you. All right. Yeah. Put one in here. Get the other one. Okay. Now we get the rest of them in there. Look, and I cleaned up all the bolts. See how shiny they are? Alright, so before we snug these up here, since I already have the oil seal on here, I'm going to use our hermetic balancer to kind of center it. It's not going to be perfect as like if you were using one of those hubs to center it, but I don't have that tool. So, and unfortunately I screwed up and I installed the seal already, so I can't use the tool that I do have. So I'm just going to have to improvise here. I'm going to use the harmonic balancer as my centering tool, and then I'll snug these up, and then I'll just pull it out, and I think I'm gonna paint it. Yeah. Now I'm gonna use the flat of the oil pan without a gasket to help me align this. I should really invest in the tool that they sell for this, but I don't have it, guys, so it is what it is. I mean, it'll be fine. So once we snug this up, it's gonna bring it up to the proper flushness, and then this is centering our seal. So I think we're gonna be okay without having to buy expensive tools. All right, so to help me align this thing, I put all the, without a gasket, I just put the timing covers and the rear main seal cover, and I have it to where it's flush. So once I have it there, I think I could snug this, and I shouldn't have any leaks. I'll pull it back out, put some silicone on the corners, and close it back up. So I got this bolt, this bolt, this bolt, and this bolt tight. And as you guys can see here with the back ones, we're perfectly aligned here and we're perfectly flush on top. So this is great, guys, because if you get that off and you put the bell housing in, you can actually crack your bell housing or your oil pan or whatever. So you want to make sure all those corners are flush, you know. So alright, guys, so I got some brake cleaner, cleaned up the oil pan really good. Alright, guys, if you can see, we just have the rubber barely coming out on all four corners. So I think we did a pretty good job. I think without any real fancy tools or anything, I think we did a pretty good job of getting it pretty close to, or pretty much dead center and aligned, you know. I think we're okay. So let me grab some silicone. We're gonna put some on all four corners and we'll put that oil pan. Alright, guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and torque all these to 18 foot-pounds. I want to say these are the same as the rear, which is 106 inch-pound, but looking over the Holley instructions, it just says to tighten the oil pan to rear cover bolts to 106 inch-pound, and then tighten the oil pan block and oil pan to front cover bolts to 18. Work from center out. Okay, guess. I didn't even understand what that was, but whatever. Center out. Alright, so I torqued all these bad boys right here to 18 foot-pounds. However, you want to use an inch-pound torque wrench, so it's important to have multiple torque wrenches to do the rear, because this is inch-pound, not foot-pounds. Big difference. Big difference. Alright, guys, and for my flywheel, I went with this piece right here. It's really sharp. It's from TCI. It's SFI approved. It's a really nice piece. Comes with bolts. That's good, because I bought some bolts, so I'll just return them to get some of my money back. But it even has an adapter for like the TH400, or I believe the long crank. I'm not sure. I don't think we need it. I think we have a standard crank here. I think. Alright, guys, so I can't get the flywheel onto the crank. So I put a little bit of oil and I grabbed some sandpaper. So I'm hoping it's just the anodized finish on there. So I'm just gonna do this also lightly and see where we end up. Alright guys, well I wanted to torque the harmonic balancer since I was already here, but unfortunately I can't because I thought I had a bolt, but I can't find it. And I swear I bought one, I just must have misplaced it. I have another one, but it's for an LT or LS7. So, yeah, that sucks. I thought I had it. Today is Saturday. I could try to see if I could locate like a regular one, I guess, like a GM one, the one you stretch, I guess. That'll be fine. But whatever. Let's go ahead and put the lifters on and all that good stuff. What I will do, guys, is leave myself a little marker here, just so I don't forget that I didn't put that bolt on. I just got back from the parts store. I got the bolt, the new balancer bolt. I picked up an oil filter, and I got some gaskets for the valley cover. And before I left this thing drying. So it's almost dry. It converts the rust. See, I spray it with this stuff here. It's a rust converter. So I scraped it off real quick, hit it with the wire brush, and then I sprayed it with this stuff. It converts rust into a primable surface, and it prevents rust from coming back. I like this stuff. So we'll paint it right now so it could look sharp. All right, we hit it with some paint. Gotta say, guys, that looks pretty damn good. Can't complain. Looks a lot better for sure. A little quick paint job. Not bad. Here's the bolt. It says to lube it up real good. I'm gonna put some of this stuff on here. I want the threads too. And then this thing gets torqued to 235 foot-pounds. Jesus. I don't even think my torque wrench goes up that high. Let's see. Pulled out my large torque wrench for this job. However, I don't have an extension because the last one I had I broke. So I'm gonna have to run to the parts store and just get an extension. I'll just run to Harbor Freight, I guess. Oh, it is what it is. Alright guys, so I went over to Harbor Freight, got me some Pittsburgh stuff. So, see how this works out. I got a brand new set of Brian Toolies. I have them soaking here. A little bucket of oil. Just leftover oil that I had from like an oil change. Nothing crazy, just to let all the air bubbles come out. I bought brand new lifter trays, also from Brian Truly. So they're brand new lifter trays and brand new lifters. These are soaking for about an hour now, so no, maybe more, maybe a couple hours. So I think they should be just fine. Alright guys, and for lifter trays, they basically only go one way. You guys see the hole lines up? This way, it won't fit. So there's like a little notch right there. So there's real no, you can't really screw it up, I guess. And then the bolts that go there are these little guys. I'll show you guys. It's these guys. They have like a little taper, like a little offset inside, which is for that. Supposedly, right? So yeah. So let's go ahead and pull these guys out, and obviously they only go one way, right? I don't want to make a mess here holding the camera, but the roller goes to the cam and this goes to the top. So yeah, and this only goes one way, like this. just like that. Alright, so like I said, the rollers go on top. There's no real orientation to the little hole. I haven't found anything concrete that says these should point in either direction, so I just grab them the way they come. So let me grab these. Alright. Alright. And then you just put them in there. Bam. Nothing too crazy. Alright guys. So once we put our lifter trays in there, let's go ahead and put our little bolts in there. Alright, and these get torqued to 106 inch-pound, I believe, in a Gen 3, and in a Gen 4 it is 89. Alright guys, quick update. I cut my finger with the head gaskets. They're freaking sharp. So unfortunately I only ordered one. I don't know what I was thinking. I thought that maybe they came in as a set or so, but I only freaking bought one, so I need another one. So lucky for me, I found one at AutoZone. Believe it or not, the AC Doco part number of this one, they actually have one. So I'm gonna run over there and grab it real quick, and well, it is what it is, guys. We don't give up, guys. We're gonna do as much as we can, and yeah. Alright guys, so per the instructions here on the ARP bolts, they want you to clean them really, really good with brake cleaner. They want you to apply some of that grease to the bottom of the head of the bolt and on the threads. See, it says the cylinder head and washer mating surface must be free of oil and grease/lubricant. It says lubricate the bolt threads and the bottom of the head of each bolt and torque to this sequence in this order: 25, 50, 75, 20. Alright, so I already cleaned all these with brake cleaner, so all I have to do is put some of this on here, and then, like I said, I carefully put some on the bottom of that, and I'm gonna try my best here to not get any of these things dirty. It's gonna be hard. So this one's clean, and it has a chamfered area, so that one goes inside. Okay, so okay. Jeez. I didn't know it was going to be this complicated. Should have just got my OG bolts. Alright, next one. All right, guys, so I have the heads on now, torqued properly. I used the sequence that ARP provided, the instructions. So I used their torque specs, their sequence, everything like they said to do. And now it's time to put the rocker assembly on so we can measure for push rod length. So just so you guys know, when you guys put LS3 heads on a 6-liter iron block, you're gonna need to one, you need new pedestals for your rockers to sit. You need LS3 rocker arms and LS3 valve covers. So a little bit of a inconvenience, but hey, it is what it is. I've been gathering parts for a cool minute now. So here's my pedestals. These are part number 126000936. These are for LS3. Bought these straight from GM. These I actually bought used, but they look really good, so I'm gonna go ahead and run them. So let's go ahead and install this. I actually never installed these before. Usually the LS1s or the non-LS3, I should say, like the truck motors and stuff, they have like a little tab which aligns this. This one doesn't, but it has little grooves there, so I guess it just sits on these little studs right here where the valve cover bolts go. I did have to buy a valve cover. I did have to buy the pedestal bolts, also the rocker arm bolts. That's also something you need to get. All right, so something like that. So okay, all right, and here's a perfect example of the difference in the rocker arms. See how one of them is more pitched, and I'll show you why. Let me just inspect this, make sure it's good. Looks pretty good. All right, so you see how the straight one will work on the exhaust side, but on the intake side you need this little one right here that's angled. See how it kind of pitches out this way. So all right, guys, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and put a couple of these on. Well, actually I'm gonna put all of them on, and then I'm gonna remove these two, and then I'm gonna check my push rod length. All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, I'm going to have to wrap up this video here. I planned on being able to concile all these videos and make one good video of the engine assembly from beginning to end after we got it back from TJ, the short block, right? I wanted to assemble everything else and do a real nice video for you guys. However, one, the video got too long, and two, the real reason is right here where we're at, guys, on this video. Right where I'm about to put the rocker arms, I realized that I got gypped. When I bought my rocker arms, I bought them off a nice gentleman who I thought was a stand-up guy. Well, he ended up ripping me off. He gave me 15 trunions, 15 rockers with trunion upgrades on them, and one stalker. So I was stuck once again. I reached out to AMS and I was like, hey, can I buy just one? They're like, no, you have to buy a complete set. So I was like, damn it. So what I ended up doing was, just to get like the overnight shipping, I just ended up ordering another set from Summit. But I was down for another couple of days. But nevertheless, guys, I'm gonna close out the video here, just to not drag it out too long, and because like I said, I was already upset that I got ripped off, and well, it is what it is, guys. But nevertheless, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Later.